Today's shopping ecosystem is shifting rapidly, but as global payment and e-commerce systems evolve, so do online criminals. When the World Health Organization declared the novel coronavirus a pandemic, e-commerce transactions jumped 23% in just 1 week. As of June, American consumers reported losing more than $59 million to COVID-19 related e-commerce fraud.
Buyer behaviors during COVID and leading up to COVID were very atypical. It's difficult to differentiate between the good and bad actors, especially using the more traditional methods. And that creates a window for fraudsters to essentially exploit.
The online apparel and accessories industry saw a 44% increase in fraud attacks year over year. And for every dollar of fraudulent transactions, retailers actually lose $3.13. Social commerce has only made the problem worse. The growing popularity of social shopping opened the door to a proliferation of fake merchants and advertisers. Here are 3 ways to protect yourself if you use social media to shop. One way to know if a merchant is legit is to find out if the product is being sold on third-party sites or by another manufacturer.
There's no question that as a consumer, there is elevated risk in shopping with smaller merchants. There are also some plugins that you can use in your browser that essentially evaluate the trustworthiness of a site. You just need to be, I think, a savvy consumer, and if you see a deal that's too good to be true, there's probably a reason for it.
Use credit cards for purchases. It's much easier to dispute fraud if you pay with a credit card versus any other peer-to-peer service like Venmo or PayPal.
Because fraud is so common, it's very, very common for consumers to submit fraud disputes. And that is a pretty effective mechanism, actually, as a consumer, to insure yourself against financial losses. And ultimately, those losses typically fall on the merchant, but if the merchant can't absorb it, there's a bank behind that. Purchasing with credit cards and debit cards is probably safer, at least today, for a consumer than most other payment methods.
Protect your privacy. Adjust your privacy settings on all social media platforms so you won't be targeted by ads fabricated by fraudsters.
2-step verification on your own accounts as a consumer is typically a very good idea. And also, I would suggest using password managers, because if you have the same password across a lot of different websites, you can steal a tremendous amount of personal information just by accessing all these different accounts. And that's where, the nightmare scenario can become more and more of a reality.